So, I felt the need to make this video. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army. I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States. I didn't swear to defend the government. I didn't swear to defend state representatives. I didn't swear to defend politicians. I swore to defend the Constitution of the United States in itself as a document. The Constitution is not a fluid document that changes when you feel the need to change it. The ability to change the U.S. Constitution is very difficult. It's not easy. Okay? Alright? So, I need to go on to, as a veteran, and I'm a Trump supporter. You don't like it? I don't care. But the thing is, multiple attacks on President Trump, right? Assassination attempts, spurred on by the left and all the things they're saying. The media is mostly to blame for this. ABC, CBS, whatever, all of them. They're all, MSNBC, they're all a big chunk to blame for these assassination attempts, okay? Now, and the biggest thing I have to really wonder is if the Democrats are, before calling him Adolf Hitler, they were saying that he was going to be the last American president, this and that, right? The only people I see trying to take rights away are Democrats. Now here's the problem. Democrats are like Nazis after World War II. You can't tell the good Nazis from the bad Nazis, but they were still Nazis. Okay. Now, the fact that the Democrats want to disarm everybody, except for the people that they deem are worthy of firearms. The fact they don't want people to have to show identification for voting. They essentially, I mean, in my state of Washington, it's a Democrat stronghold. Because the far left occupies Seattle, Tacoma, Everett, all the rest of those places like that. And a lot of the smaller towns that aren't hardcore Democrat, they are basically put out to pasture because no one gives a shit what they really want to think. So, out here in the boonies, we still have firearms. We still have a majority, I would say more Republican leaning, and I would say some Democrats who are more constitutional leaning, but have voted Democrat because of support for years and years of Democrat. So, my question is this. If President Trump is injured and incapacitated where he can't run, what do you think is going to happen in America? I want you to think about this. How many veterans are there out there? We're not talking about non-veterans. We'll just say combat veterans. How many people in the military support Trump? I know they're trying to dissect the military and make it the more feminized and friendly military. Feminized soldiers don't last long in combat operations. They're the first ones to cry and whine and fall apart. You know. Even though, and the only way these feminized soldiers could even be of any help to the government is if they were in group. And you gotta have a strong leader that's not feminized. That's willing to kick their ass. Okay? But what does the government think is gonna happen when they have actively supported, broke down the system, set up holes which the president could be assassinated with? Maybe even possibly, I'm not sure, possibly have had a finger in some of the assassination attempt events to get President Trump. Well, the courts are against him, right? For example, when the New York City judge was trying to say that he understood the value of property in Florida when he's in New York City, right? That's kind of stupid. And all these invented charges to try to put him in jail. Okay. And on top of that, how many people is it going to take to fix this problem in our country? Our politicians are bought and sold. Our votes, they say it matter, but in a way, do they really matter? Because, I mean, you can vote a Democrat or Republican president in, and they can have good intentions, right? But the fact that Congress and the Senate are bought and paid by someone, do we really even have a government? Or is this simply a government purchased by the biggest bidder? Doesn't matter if it's American companies or China or Russia or anyone. Because there's millionaires and there's big companies out there all over the globe that contribute money to these different funds. So when this happens, if President Trump is incapacitated because the Democrats have encouraged this and they have pushed it and they have called Trump a Nazi, they have called him a dictator, they acted like he was in office. And last time I checked, Kamala Harris is still the vice president. She still has to do things, but I guess not because she's on vacation because now she's running. So, what do you think is going to happen after bad things happen to Trump? Do you think that this is going to open that a lot of Republicans and some Democrats, I'll say a few, are going to be like, yay, we'll just go on like nothing happened? No. Do you think they are going to go serve in the military and let you send people over to foreign countries to get killed? Look at, Afghanistan. Multiple soldiers were killed in that. Okay, right? And now the Taliban are riding around in American equipment. Right? And it was as far as Biden and Kamala are concerned, it was great. Okay? Do you really think that in America that we are civilians, we are so stupid to eat the dog crap out of a spoon from some politician's hand? I'm going to give you a rough example here. Okay. If the U.S. has 400 million people, right? So we'll say 200 million are men. Okay? We'll say 100 million are fighting age men. Okay? Right? Okay, now just bear with me. If out of that group of fighting age men, 5 million Americans say we are going to pick up arms against our fake government, right? Which has been overrun by people who get paid off. They enter Congress and the Senate, and they go making $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and they leave millionaires, right? Who's going to stop that? Do you think that the local National Guard in that state is going to pull guns on civilians? They're not. They won't. I spent time in the military. One of the things we have discussed primarily in our off time was what would we do if the government ordered us to go against our own countrymen, and we said nothing. Grab our shit, grab a Hummer, and go home. That's it. Now you're going to have a few people in the military who are going to follow orders. You may slaughter civilians, do bombing runs or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, as veterans, the majority of us know how to incapacitate most, if not all, military equipment. Because that's part of the things you study, is you learn how to destroy the equipment easily and quickly, because in real world situation, if you have to retreat and you can't take everything, you have to destroy it where the enemy can't use it. Apparently, Afghanistan, they forgot about that. Right? So, What makes that the politicians above? And no one's gonna attack the Capitol. You know, it's gonna start with the government trying to come down on people. Okay, because we're to the point now. Half of America is against the government. Half of America is against the government. They can't come out and say it, but they know a civil war is coming. And to the people out there, you're going to have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. Because if we have a civil war, which is very probable now, if something happens to Trump, right? Once you've picked your side. That's the side you're on. And I have a very, for my time in the military and places I've been, once you pick your side, you pick your lot for who you deal with. And it's not going to be pretty. Look at Bosnia. Look at, all the other countries where they're having civil wars in this world. And if you think that this is going to be a clean conflict in America, you are definitely mistaken. There'll be no sides. There'll be no battle lines. There'll be nothing. Hell, I don't even know if half the people shooting at each other will even know why they're shooting at each other. Just because someone's shooting at me, they won't stop shooting, and so you got to engage. So you can be safe. The horrible crimes of things that could occur, sexual assaults, rape, murder, whatever. The list goes on and on and on and on. And I don't think the left is ready for this. Now, I'm not saying that everyone on the right is perfect, but at least there's a basic concept of camaraderie with the goal to maintain the U.S. government by the Constitution. And you can have, like all these presidents say, you can have all the F-16s, F-35 Joint Strike Fighters you want, but you know what? You got to maintain them. You got to have fuel. You got to have pilots. All these things support standards. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be permanently there and available. Now, I know a lot of people who drank the Kool-Aid. Old Jim Jones statement there, right? But there's a lot of Americans out there. People are buying ammo in bulk. They are expecting conflict on American soil. We don't have to worry about Russians or Chinese invading us. Because this election could, I'm not saying will, could be the turning point in the USA for a second civil war. Now, you can sit here and laugh at me and say, well, you're just saying this like it's just like Bigfoot. It doesn't exist. No, it does. It's just the thing is people are silently preparing for it. And if you're not preparing for the future conflict in America, you are a fool. Because it is most definitely coming. And if you didn't prepare and you picked the wrong side, that's just how it goes. You will live with the effects of being on that side. And I can tell you one thing, if there is a civil war, I'm pretty sure militias or military will deal with traitors the same way they have always dealt with them. They will summarily hang them. It's noise free. You can use rope. You can reuse rope. The same rope you hang a man with is the same rope you can tie up a line with and run to a vehicle to do a clothesline with. Okay? So rope works for everything. But, and there's no amount of special operations people you can come in and just stop everything. Because I want you to think about this. Your best trained soldier could have gone through every training in the book. Be a super soldier. In one bad moment, one spot of bad luck, and they're gone. All that training is for nothing because they just died. I want you to consider that. So you can say, well, we're on special forces. All these units run with support. Okay, if they have no support, they don't want to do it because they're not going to get the medevac support. They're not going to get the intelligence support. All these things that these groups rely on, they use with a functioning military and data. When this data is not there, it changes the whole scenario. You can't just say go point A to point B. Good luck getting there. We don't know what's there. This is how you lose special ops soldiers. Okay, right? But there's there's not enough special forces or Delta Force or anyone else who would be pro-government who would want to accidentally get smoked by some 19-year-old on a farm with a deer rifle because they didn't know who the fuck you were. Okay, don't think it can't happen. But there is a very high probability that we will be in a civil war. It'll start slow. A thing here, a thing there. And then once the government decides if Donald Trump is executed or injured in some way, once they've done some atrocity, this is what's going to kick it. They come in, they kick in a house, they arrest someone, they shoot a family up, and they kill a bunch of people that shouldn't have killed. They had nothing to do with it. And they had the wrong address, just kind of like the cops do. Right? Or they drop a bomb on somewhere, or they do whatever, or they do a massacre. All it takes is one event like that to be the push. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that it's highly important to remember it could happen. And the numbers are there. The guns are there, the ammo is there. And the government knows this. This is why they're anti-gun. This is why they want to take the guns away. You know? But you can bet money there is enough 3D printers in America and machinists where they can make more guns. So don't think that just by taking the guns away, you're going to do that. And the second aspect of this is this. If there is a civil war, do you not think that, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Just roll that around a little bit. And I don't care what you say about me, or other people, but there are hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there that feel the same way as I do. And they're disqualified and they're talked shit about or whatever. But you know what? It's not. Let's just say you don't want this. I'm not saying President Trump has to win. I'm saying that if someone shoots President Trump, then you turn around and you have a Democrat go in and then initiate massive gun control, presidential rules for the country, trying to change everything, right? It's not going to fly. Because it's going to look like the government wanted Trump dealt with, and if the government if something happens to him, no matter what they say or what the investigation, everyone knows it's the government that did it. Maybe one of the 3-letter groups, FBI, CIA, they're all anti-Trump. They're all anti-constitutional. They're all anti-American. They've been infiltrated for years since Clinton administration started kicking people out who were pro-America. So if the conflict comes, but pick your side. And when you pick your side, be prepared, because you know what? It's not going to be pretty at all. And it doesn't matter what kind of vet you are. You were either a Vietnam vet, World War II vet, or you're a Panama invasion vet, a Desert Storm vet, or Iraqi 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. The majority of vets see what's happening with the government being lazy on security, basically allowing pot shots at the president, losing a shot in his ear, almost getting shot playing golf, and other things that are occurring, right? And you think we're not going to hold the government responsible? Say that is the worst way to rig an election, when you try to deal with a president who's running the old-fashioned way. You think people aren't going to know? This isn't Venezuela. We ain't gave our guns up. So I'm just going to end this video and say, look, you can agree or disagree, but the writing's on the fucking wall. It's on the wall. You can be a Civil War II denier. You can say it's never going to happen. You can be one of the sheep. Or you can wake up, pick your side, and you can be like, hey, let's just wait and see how this is going to go. It could go either way. So I'm just saying, this is how it could go. So good luck. Prep up a little bit. And take care of your family. And take this seriously. This is very serious. So, catch you later, Tater.